Hello everyone! Today I'll be reviewing the Creative Artist Watercolours by Art Sensations. I will also be using their watercolour paper for this painting. The paper boasts that it's 300 GSM. Let's get started. I sketched this wolf off camera. In hindsight, I should have maybe gone for something a little more colourful, but I really wanted to paint a picture of a wolf in snow. I marked off my area with some washi tape because I wanted a nice smooth border once complete. My review of these paints will have to be taken with a grain of salt. I have never tried high quality watercolours, like for example the paints sold by Winsor & Newton or Schminker. All I can and will compare these two for the moment are school grade kits that would be bought for children at the price of under €5 or the equivalent in your local currency. That means cheap. I spent a really long time mixing the colours that I wanted to use. I did pre-wet the watercolour cakes with a spray bottle before painting, so all the paints were activated. In comparison to the very low quality watercolour paints that I have always had, I found these paints to be pretty adequate to work with. I managed to get several different shades of blue and grey with relative ease. I noticed pretty early on that even though I hadn't got the paper significantly wet, it started to buckle. Maybe this could have been prevented by taping the watercolour paper down to a flat surface before painting. But since I didn't want to create anything for display, in this case it's okay. It's basically just a test for these watercolours. I worked from light to dark, trying to get the most I could out of these paints. Compared to the cheap watercolour paints that I have used for years, these held up pretty well considering that the price of these was about €1. To get the fur to look fluffy, I did some dots and then dragged the dots up with a little water. For the areas that needed more intense colours, I used the paint straight from the cakes. Here I noticed that they were actually quite pigmented, which was a pleasant surprise. In all the kiddie sets that I have had in the past, using black straight from the cake resulted always in a light to medium grey hue. In this set, it's almost fully black, which is really nice. With the areas that were still wet, I accidentally went in with more water and paint. I did have spillage, which thankfully is easy to clean up with a little bit of tissue to absorb the mess. The background looked a little bare, so I added a few not so happy looking trees to try and give it some depth. Another thing I would like to point out, several days after painting this picture, the paints have dried in the tray and none of them are cracked up badly like the cheap watercolour paints I've always used, which in my experience have always cracked after drying, and some of them have actually cracked really badly. I am pleased to see that these dry with minimal cracking. I used some white ink to add some highlights and to hint at some freshly falling snow. In the end, I'm pretty pleased with how this painting turned out, although I should have gone with something more colourful than this for demonstration. I do have a different set of Creative Artists by Art Sensation watercolours that I'll be reviewing soon, and will definitely be painting something more colourful than this. I just really like wolves and I like snow. Until next time, stay awesome and stay tuned.